I'm Fred Wilkinson, Chief Editor of the National Provisioner. Today I'm speaking with Jeff Tripician. He is the CEO of Meatable, a cultured meat company. Jeff, thank you for joining me today to get things started. This is kind of a newer role for you at this point, still, I believe. In what ways, you being kind of new, I believe, to the cultivated meat space, in what ways are cultivated meats complementary with traditional meat and poultry products?
Well, Fred, first, thanks for having me again. And it's been about 4 months, so I'm learning the cultivated side. But what's similar is so overwhelming that it the difference is relatively speaking quite small. So what's the same is it's animal protein. It's cells from animals that are raised or grown a different way. But everything else is the same. It's not an analog. It's not like you take a plant-based product and say, well, I'll season it to taste like conventional meat. Or, whether it's soy or pea or any of those things, or vegetables that they try to add flavoring to. That's just not here. So cultivated meats, anybody's, are cells the production is accelerated through science and technology, and it produces, whether it's cells that would replicate muscle or fat. And then, just like you would blend product for ground beef and you're using different pieces and parts, it's the same thing here. And so if you think about it like I do, being a meat guy, and I think of a plant, the difference is the meat supply for a typical plant walks in on four legs, and this meat supply is generated at the plant and enters the plant in a combo bin or a box. Everything else is the same: grinding, seasoning, heating, packaging, cold storage, shipping, sales. It's all the same. If you blindfolded yourself and tasted them, they taste the same because it's real meat. So the similarities kind of blew me away. Now, the science side of it, I'm no PhD or scientist. That's different.
Okay. Um, so, again, with you being kind of new to the cultivated meat side of things, what particular challenges and opportunities do you see for those products as they kind of start to enter the marketplace more?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about it in a couple of minutes. The where I see the opportunity, though, is, or the application is, there's product today, hot dogs, sausages, taco meat, burritos, dumplings, all kinds of things that you would consider to be ground product or trim, things of that nature, that I think cultivated meat is perfect for, because it allows you to take a piece of raw material and add it to an existing formula, whether you blend it in with conventional meat or not. I'd blend it in with conventional meat if I was running the meat side. And because you get all the attributes you like, all the positive things, you're still using a significant amount of conventional livestock, because cultivated meat shouldn't replace one head of cattle or hog, shouldn't impact one farmer or rancher negatively. And so it's just a raw material supply option for a meat company. That's all. And so I view it as, I would put it in processed items first. And then as the consumers warm up to that, then if people want to get into making muscle cuts, muscle options, that's fine. But I wouldn't go there. I would go for the far more common, seasoned, packaged, fully cooked options that are out there.
Okay, so more of kind of a value added product.
Absolutely.
Okay, gotcha.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Well, and there's a couple reasons. If you think about, pick whatever processed item you have today, a sausage or something. And what we're advocating for is meat companies have innovated over time. This is just another innovation, just like MAP packaging or sous vide or HPP. It's just another innovation. And I would take our current recipe and remove, whether it's plant-based product or livestock-based protein, take some of that out, 25%, put in cultivated meat, have it blended. Consumer would taste no difference because it's real meat to begin with. You would take a plant-based product and increase the palatability. It would taste much more like pork or beef. If you take a conventional livestock-based product, protein, and you put in cultivated, you increase the claims. It's a little more climate friendly, water friendly, animal friendly, a lot of things people value. And so either way, you can incorporate it into a product and either increase the quality, taste, or increase the claims. As a marketer for meat, I would go down that path.
Now, making kind of like a blended product like that, as far as like, how does that affect the pricing of the product? Is it about the same or is it less, a little more?
Well, yeah, good question. So cultivated products will generally hit the market at about the premium that an organic product would. So more, but when you blend it, you kind of dilute that premium because you're only going to put in, say, 25%. What I would say is if you're making a plant-based product, it's parity from a cost of goods. If it's conventional meat, it does cost more, but I think the claims, the benefits you could make would be just like the premiums you get today for grass-fed or cage-free or breed-specific or no antibiotics. All of those carry a higher price point. This would be no different than that.
Well, speaking of claims, so what type of consumer messaging do you see kind of helping introduce a broader market to cultivated meat products?
Yeah, what's funny is, look, I've been doing this for a long time, which is a code word for I'm older. The thing that the research pointed out to me, reminded me of, is you should do consumer research, because I did it and I'm thinking, well, what claim can I make? Is it climate friendly? And obviously you got to go through the government, but climate friendly, is it planet friendly, soil, water, air, all those kinds of things that are potentially damaging on a planet basis. Animal care, obviously no animals are harvested, so you can't get much friendlier than that. No antibiotics, no added hormones, all those claims. And then we did consumer research. We did it in the US, did it with consumers, and did it with chefs, thousands of them. And what we saw was that younger audience, and this is not going to surprise anybody, the younger audience said, one, we like those claims. But the thing that they played back to us was, especially the consumers, was the younger consumer loved that technology was actually involved. And we pushed on that. We said, what do you mean? And they said, technology is so central to their life today that it wasn't surprising. It was actually comforting, because they said, look, I get all my communication off a cell phone. I watch TV off of different tools. I don't get magazines and newspaper. Everything is a more technology driven answer, from the vehicle they drive to how they communicate and get all their information. And so when we said this is technology solving big problems, they said, we're very comfortable with that. Me being older, I was like, I don't know about that. But the younger audience absolutely made perfect sense to them.
With this still being, a kind of a newer development in food marketing, what do you see the next 10 years or so looking like for the market for cultivated meats here in the United States?
Yeah, so I'll answer it as I think you intended, which is from a marketing and a consumer standpoint. We'll leave regulatory, FDA, that kind of thing aside. per second. So assuming that states let it be sold and FDA continues to help companies make sure that everything is 100% safe and fair. So assuming all that's fine, is I would try to communicate that that cultivated meats, one, are real meat. They're simply produced or raised a different way. And they're not raised in a lab. They're produced in a plant, like the super majority of all the food all of us eat. They're made at a plant somewhere. And they're made in stainless steel equipment, just like it would be for cultivated. And they're going to be made by a meat company, which already uses the plant to deconstruct a carcass, add seasoning, add heat, package, and ship. So same people they've trusted for 100 years would be the people bringing them this product. But the claims are different. I've been doing premium meat now for going on 30 years. Started with Coleman and Petaluma and Nyman Ranch, people like that, where you're pushing the envelope to not just get food, but get food that does some good, helping rural America, helping farmers and ranchers make a little money, making sure you leave the land in at least as good a condition, if not better. Treat animals with respect. Kind of don't do anything crazy with the product. Don't add anything that you wouldn't want to feed your own family. And so those claims, when you can honestly make them, you get paid a little bit more. So from a business standpoint, as a businessman, you should be going, well, look, if I can enhance my margins and do the right thing, why wouldn't I do that? I believe, and the reason I got into this business is I believe these claims are not only stronger because they're greater, they're more absolute. No animals harvested. The water use for cultivated versus conventional livestock, 1% of what conventional livestock use. So the positives are so dramatically better. The safety, absolute, or it's not going to go to market. FDA and others wouldn't let it. So no one's going to have product that's not safe. It's the other things, and this is as a meat business guy, that I find really appealing is the length of time that you have to do as a conventional meat guy. You're investing a year to 3 years out in livestock. Whether you own the livestock or not, you still have to make sure you have a flow of livestock for meat. In this case, these products go from the first cell you put in a bioreactor to pounds of meat is 12 days. That blows my mind that you can do that. Think of what that means. A company can say, here's my forecast sales for next month. And you have time to generate that raw material yourself in your plant. You don't need thousands of acres. You need a building. You can put the building anywhere you want next to your current buildings. So the fact that it has no impact on the land, minimal impact on the water, 1%. It has no runoff issues. It has no balance issues. It has no taste issues. So it just solves so many business issues and is margin enhancing. This is worth the look. That's why I'm here. I'm going to look at this over the next few years and make sure it works just the way I said.
Well, Jeff, thanks a lot for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure.